On a balmy autumn evening, a group of Americans gather to watch the World Series. With US draft beer on tap, the stars and stripes around the walls, and Halloween decorations along the bar, they could be anywhere in the United States. But this is Mexico, and the country's expat capital. It's Lake Chapala in western Mexico, a region home to some 50,000 North American and European expats. They come here for a peaceful retirement, with good weather and lower prices. But a crime wave is ripping through their community, putting the town's future in doubt. The shores of Mexico's largest freshwater lake have been inhabited since before the days of the Aztec Empire. The Coca indigenous people have lived here for millennia, inhabiting fishing settlements on the lake's steep banks. But in the 1930s, the beautiful lake with its famous sunsets began to attract international tourism. Residential visitors followed, attracted by the climate, the lower prices than back home, and the peace and quiet. Today, the north shores of Lake Chapala are home to more than 50,000 expatriated residents, the majority from the United States and Canada.
Comfortable, yeah. I feel welcome here. I feel like this is my community.
This is our first year. We came down in August for 8 days, fell in love.
Perfect weather. Everybody's friendly. It's lots of fun. There's something to do every day.
But the relationship between the two communities, the Mexicans and the newcomers, may not be as happy as some of the Anglophone residents would believe.
Y hay personas que no están tan contentas.
For Chapala businessman and local Jose Juan Vasquez, there is a problem that has been overlooked by the wealthy expats.
Siento como que hoy que subió más la economía, las rentas, por ejemplo, han subido al 80%, quizás más. Y una persona de aquí o una persona local que no tiene un negocio, que no tiene una pensión como los extranjeros, no va a poder pagar. Entonces, si quieres vivir en un pueblo como este, es muy probable que no puedas por la economía tan alta y por las rentas tan caras.
Resentment among the local community is common here, and as cultures clash, economic inequality begins to cause problems. Roberto Fuentes says the town's sentiment against the expats is deteriorating.
Están comiendo de nuestra tierra, de muchas cosas. Escuchas muchos comentarios de eso, pues, o sea.
As for Lake Chapala and its magical sunsets, it is highly contaminated. The native fishing industry has been laid waste by industrial refuse pumped into the lake, with mercury contamination levels at over 300 times the maximum recommended by the US Environmental Protection Agency. The local economy depends almost entirely upon the expat population and the dollars they bring. René Alvarez is a Lake Chapala native.
En realidad el problema que enfrentamos aquí es la falta de trabajo. Si bien tenemos la oportunidad de que le podamos dar servicio a los extranjeros, que son los que tienen el dinero en la economía para pagar estos servicios, y pues en realidad sí tenemos el problema de que la juventud no encuentra un trabajo aquí en Ajijic y tienen que emigrar hacia la ciudad de Guadalajara o Tlaquepaque, y ahí es cuando pues los jóvenes que no pueden entrar a las escuelas van a tener que dedicarse a buscar la manera de obtener un dinero, y la manera más fácil es delinquiendo.
Mexico is currently living through a crime wave that saw more than 30,000 murders last year and more than 100,000 disappearances in the past decade. Until recently, Lake Chapala stayed behind the wave of crime that has been plaguing the rest of the country. But in the past months, the region's expat community has suffered a spate of robberies and kidnappings of ever-increasing violence. In August of 2018, a shootout between police and a local kidnapping gang shook the community to its core. Local police chief Amador Bajena is aware of the issues.
El delito que aquí estamos observando, le digo que acabamos de llegar y lo hemos estado observando, es el robo a casa-habitación y el robo de vehículos, pero de modelo atrasados. Se detuvo una banda de secuestradores aquí en Chapala, con la participación de la Fiscalía, que fue la que llevó el operativo. Nosotros los apoyamos y se detuvo esa banda. Hemos detectado, a veces hay colusión, los de vigilantes con los que andan robando en los fraccionamientos o en los centros comerciales.
Canadian expats Ruben and Berit Peterson have lived peacefully in Chapala for 2 decades. Yet, in the past 18 months, they have suffered 3 home invasions. Each successive incident has been more violent than the last.
I was resting in the bedroom and had sort of closed my eyes for about 10 minutes, I figured. And I opened my eyes. I hadn't heard anything because he was so quiet. And here is this strange man standing. So I said, I don't know you. I have never seen you before. And he just went, shh, and grabbed my hand and pulled my jewelry off my finger. 4 rings, yeah. Then I screamed at the top of my lungs.
Ruben rushed to the sound of his wife's screams.
He knows he's caught.
Yeah.
So he comes towards me. I'm in the doorway. He has a knife in his right arm, and I grab him here, and I'm holding it, and then almost, seconds, I find myself on the floor.
Ruben and Berit's experience is not unique. According to the Lake Chapala Society, an organisation run by the local expat community, robberies targeting vulnerable expats alone are up by more than 10 times on 5 years ago. Today in the town, it seems almost every expat resident has lived through something similar.
February, my house actually was broken into. They took like my passport and my Mexican Permanente card and money and jewelry and stuff I can't replace. So
there's home invasions everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. You go into the hills or stuff, you're gonna get hurt.
Look closely and you realise Chapala is not the expat paradise it once was. After suffering 2 robberies in the space of 3 months, Gabrielle Henderson knew something had to be done. She set up the town's first community watch on her own street.
2 weeks prior to me being instrumental in starting this watch group, there was a lady that was attacked in a home and brutally beaten. I got everybody's name, phone number, email, and told them what I wanted to do. I wanted to start this initiation of a neighborhood watch, and everybody was in favor of it.
Gabrielle's scheme, which has seen warning signs posted throughout her neighbourhood and direct lines of communication established between residents, has been successful.
We have had 2 invasions, and we have caught 2.
But in a country where 98% of crimes are left unsolved, neither incident has seen the criminals, although detained, brought to justice by the authorities. Gabrielle says community faith in the local authorities is non-existent.
These officers that were coming in to patrol the neighborhoods, really they were just kids off the street, and they hand them a gun, and they didn't give them any classes, any education on how to handle things. And you had a lot of corruption.
The local police force admits they have a lot of work on their hands.
Nos preocupa mucho su seguridad de la comunidad extranjera, ¿eh? No es que no hagamos nada. Aquí un promedio de 50,000 habitantes. Imagínense, ahorita que viene el turismo, lo que son los fines de semana, se llega a juntar hasta 60,000 habitantes para 80 policías. Pues es un gran reto cuidar a todos, ¿verdad? Estar cuidando que no haya robo de vehículos, que los robos conejeros que le llaman, que ya te robaron la cartera, que ya te cristalearon un vehículo.
With local law enforcement understaffed and a large target pool of older, vulnerable foreign residents, it's like shooting fish in a barrel for Lake Chapala's criminals. But the problem may be closer to home. Gabrielle thinks the expats may also be partly to blame.
There's a lot of older Americans and Canadians here that smoke pot, and they're buying the drugs from the cartels. We're probably one of their biggest suppliers, you know?
While much of the crime is committed from within the native Mexican community, the actions of a few may have wider consequences.
It was before that people were just getting robbed, and now people are getting hurt. There have been people that have been tied up at gunpoint, hurt, and those people leave.
With crime thriving in Chapala, the fear is the worst may be yet to come. Crystal methamphetamine addiction is rampant in the impoverished communities, fueling organised crime on a larger scale. Local tradesmen think that, given Mexico's political situation, it seems to be crime season for the bigger gangs.
El crimen incrementa cada 6 años, lo mismo. El crimen incrementa a los 6 años, durante el siguiente gobierno se tranquiliza la situación. En la transición del cambio de gobierno no hay ningún tipo de control, entonces por eso es que incrementa el crimen.
Bueno, denuncias hay diario, por robo a casa habitación. De hecho, ahorita en el transcurso del día ahorita hay 6 detenidos por robo, pero hasta ahorita ha estado calmado el municipio, no hemos tenido nada grave. Que digan, no, pues que ya nos aventaron un cuerpo o una ejecución, no ha habido nada de eso hasta ahorita.
If Mexico's crime wave worsens, the long-time safe haven of Lake Chapala's shores may begin to experience it more intensely, and the antagonism between native and newcomers could make matters worse, given that both communities need one another to survive.
We need to get this under control. The police officers, the government, the mayor, whomever, because it could lead to bigger and badder things.
Yet hope remains that this microcosm of Mexican-American relations can recover, setting an example for the wider continent and a return to the peace that has attracted people here for millennia.